Hello students, today we are going to talk about the fourth poem of Beehive book, class 9th, The Lake Astley of Innisfree. This is a very beautiful poem written by William Butler Yeats. Here the poet feels nostalgic about his birthplace and wants to travel back to his mother place. He is fed up of the busy life of urban city, and now he wants to move back to the place near to nature and have peace. Now quickly take a look about the poet of the poem, William Butler Yeats. William Butler Yeats was an Irish poet and one of the foremost figures of 20th century literature. William Butler Yeats, sometimes known as W.B. Yeats, is a very famous poet of 20th century. He was an Irish, but in his later years, he moved to London with his parents. Just because of his work, he left the Ireland, the scenic beauty of Ireland, and he moved to the London. In his initial year, when he starts writing, he wrote epic poems such as The Astley of Status and The Wandering of Ocean. Epic poems are those poems which are very long in size and revolves around the heroic characters. Likewise, in Indian literature, Ramayana and Mahabharata are the example of epic poems. W.B. Yeats was a very famous and very renowned poet, and he prolifically contributed to English literature. For his contribution in 1923, he was awarded with one of the famous award, Nobel Prize in Literature. As I told, he was a very good poet, and some of his well-known poems are The Second Coming, Lake Astley of Innisfree, Sailing to Byzantium, When You Are Old, The Stolen Child, A Prayer for a Daughter, Among School Children, etc. These are the few examples of his poems. In this video, we are going to understand the general idea of this poem, why this poem is being written. So let's get started with the introduction of the poem. As we know earlier that he was born in Ireland, and he spent most of his boyhood in Sligo, a beautiful seaport of Ireland. And the Innisfree is an island in a lake near Sligo. He visited this island many a time in his boyhood. When Yeats was a child, he was a boy. At that time, he was very interested to go to this lake island near his place. The natural beauty of this lake island left a deep impression on his mind. When Yeats left with his parents to live in London, he would often dream of Sligo and the lake island of Innisfree. Much of Yeats' work gives impression of his memories of this beautiful region, and the Lake Astley of Innisfree is one of such works. As I told you before, Yeats moved to London with his parents for work, and in 1819 Yeats was in London when he wrote this poem. He was standing on a London pavement, and he saw a water fountain. He just thinking about his place. He felt nostalgic at that time. Yeats wrote this poem in the fits of homesickness. Homesickness means when you are somewhere out from your birthplace, your native place, and you are thinking about that place, your native place, that is homesickness. You are willing to go back to that place. This poem describes the poet's intense desire to escape from London to the lake island of Innisfree. The poet himself is the speaker of this poem. He gives us a peep into his mind. Peep means have a look, and his soul, his desire to return to a peaceful, quiet, and natural place away from the busy urban life. He just wants to flee from the busy urban life to his native place, and the native place is very peaceful, quiet, and covered with natural beauty. His strong nostalgia for beautiful sight and sound of Lake Astley and his desire to lead a simple life reveals the simplicity of his heart and mind. He was in deep nostalgia. Here the word nostalgia means thinking about the past. When someone relates the current situation with the past one, it is called nostalgia. Now let's start the poem with line by line explanation. We will also discuss the rhyme scheme of the poem and the literary device used in that poem. As you can see, this is very short and comprised poem written by W.B. Yeats. There are 3 stanzas in this poem, consist of 3 long lines and 1 short line. Let's start the first stanza. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee loud glade. Here we can see the imagination of the poet. Here, poet want to tell that he will arise and go now. Now, poet had spent a pretty big part of his childhood in the beautiful island of Innisfree. That's why he just want to go. He just want to stand means he and go to that place and go to Innisfree. As we can see that he is fed up with the rat race going on in London, he just wants to go to this birthplace to Innisfree as soon as possible. I will arise and go to Innisfree. He said he will get ready and go quickly to that place and a small cabin built there. He wanted to make a very small cabin to that place. He wanted a very small house which is made up of clay and the wattles. Wattle means stick and the twigs which are woven together and which are made to build the wall of a cottage. He just want a small house which is made up of clay and wattle. 9 bean rows. He also want to connect to the nature. He is interested in gardening. He said he will sow the 9 rows of bean and will I have there an hive of the honeybee, and there will be a hive of honeybee, and this scenery will be very beautiful around him, and live alone in the bee loud glade. He just want to live alone there. He don't want any companion with him. He just want to live there in the sound of bees. As you can see that he is very much interested to go his birthplace. He feel nostalgic about that place and want to go and wanted to go away from the busy life of urban city. Now in the second stanza, and I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnights all a glitter, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet wings. Here poet use a very good imaginary. A reader can flow easily with his words and also wanted to go to that place. Now in this stanza, what poet says that, and I shall have some peace there. He is longing for the peace. He just want peace there, for peace come dropping slow. And this peace will come to him very slowly, because the peace never come in abundance, dropping from the veils of the morning. Now here, veils of the morning means the early morning mist in which things can't be seen clearly. Now the word veil means the cover of the morning, the mist, the cover of mist from which we are unable to see things clearly. That peace will come in the veils of morning, to where the cricket sings. The poet hopes to get some peace when he is able to hear the cricket song in the dim twilight of morning. He just wants to have peace and want to listen the beautiful sound of cricket in the morning. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon is a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet wings. While living in his lonely place, he will enjoy the glimmer of the stars at the midnight. Glimmer means the flickering of the stars. The purple glow of the sun at the evening, coming from the forest tree, provides some charm to the poet's soul. And in the evening, he wants to listen to the linnet. Linnet is a type of bird which used to sing in a very sweet sound. In this stanza, he wants to say that all these beauties of nature will bring peace to the poet's mind. Now moving to the third stanza, I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear the lake water lapping with the low sound by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement grey, I hear it in the deep heard score. He again said that he will get ready and go to the place where he always, in day and night, hears the lake water. He wants to hear the lake water. He wants to go forever to the place where he can hear the beautiful sound of lake water, and hear the beautiful sound of the water hitting the shore. Lapping means the water hitting the shore is called lapping, with a low sound by the shore. That the lapping of water with the shore, he want to listen to that. He want to listen to that sound continuously, constantly, while he is standing on the dull roadway and pavement of the busy road of London. Here we find the impression that when he think about that beautiful place, while I stand on the roadway, when he was standing on the roadway in London or on the pavement grey, I hear in the deep hurt core. In the last two lines, we get impression that when he think about this poem, when he think about the past life, when he think about to moving back to his native place, when he was standing on the busy road of London, and the pavement grey means on the pavement. Here grey stands for sad and dull position. I hear it in the deep hurt core. He heard there the sound of water, and it hit deep into the heart of the poet. This beautiful sound of water touched in the deepest part of his heart, and he just want to go to Innisfree without losing any time, any moment. Hope this poem is clear to everyone. Now look to the rhyme scheme of this poem. The rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, A, B. Here C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F. Now rhyme scheme is the similar sound at the end of the sentence. Now you can see Innisfree and Honeybee, they are producing the same sound. That's why these are AA, and this one is Made and Glade. These also produce same sound. That's why this consists of BB. That's why the rhyme scheme of this poem is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF. Now look to the poetic device of this poem. Here the poet used a very beautiful imagery. Here 9 bean rows and a small cabin built there. Now these lines gives the impression of the imagination of the poet that he want to build a small cabin and 9 bean rows. These are all imagination. These are not the real thing of his life, but he is willing to do this. That's why here we can find imagery. The poetic device repetition is also used here. Now you can find I will arise and go now is a similar line in the third stanza. I will arise and go now. The first line of first stanza and the first line of third stanza are the same. So here the poetic device repetition is used. Now the other poetic device used here is veil of the morning. Here morning is considered as veil. The mist of the morning is called as veil. That's why metaphor is used in this place. I hope you all understand this poem. Just take a look to this poem and revise it. Thank you and have a nice day.